We have an interesting article about a member of the Kansas City Chiefs, and I want to use it as a bit of a jumping off point for um, to return to, I guess I should say, a point that we have talked about a couple times this offseason, but the point is a little bit different now with some of the signings, or a signing, I guess I should say, that the Kansas City Chiefs have made in the meantime. The article is titled, "Will Noah Gray be the Chiefs' next Travis Kelce?" Subtitled talk has gone around about how the Kansas City Chiefs need to draft a new Travis Kelce, but do they already have that type of player on the roster in Noah Gray? From Sports Illustrated by Dominic Minchella, we get this inside the article. Kelce has held down the fort as the main tight end for Kansas City since getting drafted, emerging as one of the top tight ends in the National Football League history. While it could be difficult to find his replacement in the future, the front office doesn't need to look that far. Given they possess Noah Gray. Gray has turned out to be a steal for the Chiefs since getting drafted in the 5th round of the 2021 NFL Draft. Since donning the Chiefs uniform, Gray has improved each season and has given Patrick Mahomes much to celebrate when tossing the ball his way. He does everything the right way. He's learned a ton from Travis Kelce, and so he knows how to kind of work within the rules of the offense and get himself open. He's just a guy that's going to be in the right spot, Mahomes said. As a quarterback, if you're going to give him the football, he's going to make a play happen. Gray doesn't need to be the next Travis Kelce if he can continue being the successful Noah Gray. Last season, in a full 17 games played, Gray collected 437 receiving yards, career high, scored 5 touchdowns, career high, and fielded 25 first downs. You guessed it, career high. The plan for Kansas City after Travis Kelce's tenure is to lean on Gray as seen in the 3-year, $18 million extension. Locked up until 2027, Gray should continue to excel on the path that he's on, especially having his quarterback trusting him to get the job done. While Gray hasn't been that 1,000 plus receiving option, 1,000 plus receiving yard option, the Chiefs thus far in his tenure, he provides the front office insurance and stability at the tight end position, regardless of whether Kelce is on the active roster or not. They also have youngster Jared Wiley, who could also come into his own this upcoming season. So here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to look at this from a personnel basis because I think that the 11 personnel, I think that the Chiefs are going to be a very difficult team with which to contend on offense this season because they have a very, very fast 3-wide receiver set. When Rashee Rice comes back, he runs a 4.5, which isn't the fastest, but we saw him start to move into those deeper routes last season before he was injured, and he was having some success on them. And then you have Hollywood Brown, a 4.27 guy, and you have Xavier Worthy, a 4.21 guy. So they have a very fast 3-wide receiver set, but they also have a very fast 3 tight end set. The 11 personnel for the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be so big and still so fast that it will allow interesting situations in its own right, just from the personnel standpoint. One of the interesting things about the Chiefs offense this season that we might start to see is that they can make massive personnel moves and they don't lose talent off the football field. So you look at a lot of teams in the NFL and you can't run an 11 personnel set because you have a starting tight end who is borderline a starter, and then you have 2 guys who are borderline NFL players. So that's off the table. If you have a tight end on the field at all, it's with the accompaniment of wide receivers. But then a lot of teams, the Chiefs are familiar with this problem, this quandary from the past few seasons, don't have enough experienced and good wide receivers to be able to run, for example, a 4-wide or 5-wide receiver set. Jockeying back and forth between very large sets, 11 personnel, 3 tight ends, and very small sets, 4 wide receivers, is going to be something that makes the Kansas City Chiefs very difficult to defend because you're always having to run out different personnel groups from a defensive standpoint. And the matchup problems for your defense are going to be immense. So on the screen right now are Noah Gray's, Jared Wiley's, and Travis Kelce's measurables. Now, Travis Kelce is not all that important from a measurable standpoint. A, we know who he is. B, he's older for an NFL player, so these are not likely to still be accurately representing what it is that Travis Kelce is able to do on the field. But what I wanted to do with Travis Kelce's numbers here is show you how stunningly similar they are to Jared Wiley. So I have Noah Gray's name off the screen right now, but you know this is Noah Gray. 6'3", 240 pounds, 31-inch arms, 9.25-inch hands, 4.60 40-yard dash. He is the fastest of these three guys. A 1.61 10-yard split, 2.7 20-yard split, a 4.45 20-yard shuttle. That is a good number for a tight end. A 6.90 3-cone drill, another good number for a tight end. A 35-inch vertical, which is kind of in that average range, higher end of average, I guess I should say. It's a low-end, good, high-end average number, 35-inch vertical for a tight end. 9'7" broad jump, fairly explosive number there. And then you have 15 reps on the bench press. But we know who Noah Gray is. We know that Noah Gray is a receiving threat on the field. 6'3", 240 pounds. He's going to be a problem for smaller defensive players to cover. But 4.60 40-yard dash, 4.45 shuttle, 6.90 3-cone drill. This is the fastest 3-cone drill of these three tight ends here. He's also going to be difficult for a plodding linebacker to be able to cover. So you have him on the field, maybe not a matchup nightmare, but a mismatch for sure. You're probably going to have a safety on him. We'll get back to safeties later. Jared Wiley. Now remember, in an 11 personnel, all three of these tight ends are on the field. Jared Wiley, I wanted to compare him with Travis Kelce here. Jared Wiley, 6'6" and 1/8 inches, a true 6'6". Travis Kelce, 6'4" and 7/8 inches, essentially 6'5". Jared Wiley is an entire inch taller than Travis Kelce. 249 pounds. Travis Kelce entered the league at 255. Maybe he's wearing tighter jerseys now, or maybe he's gained a little bit of weight in the meantime. That's that's what that rich life will do for you, traveling to all of these exotic countries. Arm length, 33.25 inch for Jared Wiley, 33 3/4 for Travis Kelce, so about a half-inch advantage for Travis Kelce, but nothing substantial. They're still very close numbers. 9.5-inch hand to 9 5/8-inch hand, very close numbers. Jared Wiley ran a 4.62 40 compared to Travis Kelce's 4.61 40, very close numbers. A 1.62 10-yard split for Jared Wiley, a 1.61 for Travis Kelce. The 20-yard shuttle, 4.52 for Jared Wiley, 4.42 for Travis Kelce, probably his. I don't know if Jared Wiley, I don't remember off the top of my head if he played basketball, but Travis Kelce did. This is the basketball type drills coming into play here, that change of direction. 7.19 3-cone drill for Jared Wiley, 7.09 for Travis Kelce. So Travis Kelce has a 1/10 second advantage in both of the change of direction drills. But a 37-inch vertical jump for Jared Wiley compared to the 35 for Travis Kelce. However, 9-foot 10-inch broad jump for Jared Wiley, 10-foot 4-inch broad jump for Travis Kelce. 6 inches of difference there. Major advantage towards Travis Kelce, but similar types of athletes. Jared Wiley is a little bit bigger, but similar types of athletes there. So The reason I bring that up really is that, okay, you've got 3 tight ends on the field. Noah Gray probably takes a safety. You probably want a safety covering Noah Gray. Jared Wiley, 6'6". Travis Kelce, 6'5". You probably don't want safeties on those guys. You probably basically have to have linebackers on those guys. You could be running zone, yeah. Going to be difficult because of a reason I'm going to show you in a moment, but you can be running zone, and then 3 tight ends can bust a zone because they're all going to be in that middle of the field range. They're all going to be 5 to 15 yards downfield. Probably in your defensive set, you have 2 guys in that range, and you don't have 3. So Travis Kelce and Jared Wiley, both bigger guys that are going to be able to give linebackers their money's worth. Linebackers, big guys on the football field, 6'6", 6'5", between the two of them. Okay, but what about the wide receiver in that situation? Here's where the other safety comes into play. You've got Xavier Worthy on the field, who runs a 4.21 40-yard dash, very explosive athlete, 41-inch vertical, 10-foot, 11-inch broad jump, nearly an 11-foot broad jump on Xavier Worthy. You want a safety over the top. So you have one safety up here with Noah Gray. You have a cornerback and a safety down here with Xavier Worthy. Well, you've got 4 down linemen. Cornerback, safety. That's 8, 9, 10, 11, 3 linebackers. Maybe you've got a nickel in. But your nickel's going to be kind of small to be going up against 6'6" Jared Wiley, 6'5" Travis Kelce. So you probably need a heavy set on the field, which is 3 linebackers. 3 linebackers versus, they're probably going to be a little bit outmatched, those linebackers, because of these guys even have a size advantage on them, the Travis Kelce's, the Jared Wiley's of the world, but they also run really good 40-yard dashes, those low 4.6s. Man, it's a good thing the Chiefs don't have a running back to be able to take advantage of that situation, or it would make 11 personnel a very tough ask for an NFL defense. Oh, wait, they have Elijah Mitchell, who runs a 4.35, is a good receiving running back with a 1.5, 110-yard split, a 4.20 short shuttle, a 6.9, 4.3 cone drill, a 37.5-inch vert. Now you're going to have those 3 linebackers on the field for these 3 tight ends. You've got a safety over the top of a cornerback with Xavier Worthy. Who do you have on the field designated for Elijah Mitchell, who runs a 4.35 40-yard dash, assuming that that's still accurate? He has had a little bit of injury history in the league. But here's the thing. So the Chiefs, the interesting thing about this is that the Chiefs can gas a defense out with an 11 personnel. An 11 personnel is supposed to be the smash mouth, run the football down your throat kind of mindset. That's what the 11 personnel traditionally has been. The Chiefs have 3 Cadillacs at tight end. They have a Ferrari in Xavier Worthy. And I don't know what you'd call Elijah Mitchell, what kind of car you would call Elijah Mitchell, but it's a fast one. So all of these guys on the field at the same time makes things very difficult for a 4-3 defense that is likely playing base personnel versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, we talked about this a little bit last year, and it never came to fruition. I talked about the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs could have 2 different offenses from between the 20s and in the red zone and the negative zone, right? Between the 1 and your own 25, and then from the 20 in to the end zone, you could have the 11 personnel out there. Outside of that, in the middle of the field, the bulk of the field, you could have a very fast offense with multiple wide receivers, very fast running backs, and one tight end at a time on the field. Anyway, that's kind of what I have for this video. The 11 personnel this year is going to be phenomenal. That's all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel. Dropping multiple videos every single week. We are over 2 years consecutive of daily uploads. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.